Happy Friday, everyone. It is the last day of my family's vacation. We'll be heading home today, so I don't know if I'll get a second video out today, but I wanted to give an update on some technicals for BigBear.AI. We're also going to take a look at the technicals for C3.AI, ticker symbol AI, because of the CEO leaving and the drop that we had yesterday and what we should be looking for to see signs of recovery for that stock price and why it would drop so much if the CEO would leave anyway. And then finally, and I know that this is stocks, but I also cover some of crypto, and Bitcoin did something massive that we need to be paying attention to because of the technicals that we had. The retest that we were waiting for, it finally happened between 3 and 4 a.m. Eastern time. So I want to share that with you because it is absolutely incredible for what we could see from here in terms of near-term price action and how that could translate to a much higher price tag than what we currently have for Bitcoin. So still that 2025 price prediction that I have for Bitcoin is looking shinier than ever right now, even though the price seems to be down. So let me put this up here for you. BigBear.AI is what we're going to kick things off with. So here's just a couple of trend lines. And if I go out to the weekly chart, there we go. You can see from this peak that we had going all the way back here to April of 2022, and then sort of missing that peak there just to connect it for now. Not my favorite trend line, strongest trend line. I like this other shorter one here for the moment. So I honestly don't think that we've hit that yet. When we move up to that peak, I think we're going to see something a little different. But if we go to lower time frame charts, it makes a little bit more sense to see that longer term trend line come down through this way. In any case, that's one of the peaks that we're fighting with. And then there's another near-term trend line that you can see off these two peaks that we had down here in the 4th of March, the week of the 4th of March of 2024, and then fast forwarding all the way to December of 2024 into early January and the price rise that we have. Now here, I think we got snapped out of a lot of short positions. Here, I think is where we're actually catching on most recently to exciting things for BBAI as a company, more so than just the technical plays that we have. But we don't necessarily have direct evidence of that yet, but we got our fingers crossed that some of those government contracts that they have and other commercial space contracts are going to start to fill out that backlog and hit their top line revenue, and hopefully that translates to, as they scale up, is that scalability going to turn into profitability? That's something that we really want to have answered. And if it does, this is going to probably be a rocket ship for us. Their earnings are coming up for us. I believe it's August 11th. If I have that date right, it is. And I confirmed that with their investor relations. So TradingView is usually pretty good with this. And I've also confirmed on the investor relations page as well. If we drop down to the daily chart to see a little bit more, this shorter term trend line that we have here, and I know it looks like I missed, but we'll go down to the intraday charts. There we go. Down to the hourly chart, we'll see a little bit more across the peaks that we've hit for this thing. We have 4 touches on this top trend line. That's one of the things that we're fighting through. There is an area of resistance that lasts all the way up until $8.72. And I've talked about that before. Here's the 2 rectangles. So here's the support that we're sitting on. And we also have a support trend line that goes all the way back to just before this most recent breakout that we've had that took us up all the way to $8.72. That's the number that we need to break. Getting this trend line might allow us to see a little bit sooner, but we also do have that minor's narrower trend line that's up there as well. So we want to hold this support on the bottom, and we have an area of support down below. And if you guys really like to look at some messy technicals, I can start to put this up here. And I know some people are like, I can't see anything. What we're looking for isn't necessarily, I'm going to remind you, it's not the individual things. It's not the candles that we're looking for. What we're looking for are the clustering of the lines that end up on here. And that shows us where we start to find that firmer support. So if green support fails to hold up here, then this next clustering that we have that happens right around $6.89 all the way down to $6.71 would be one of those next areas. Some minor clustering down here as well, even more if we start to pull back into the mid 5s. So hopefully we don't get that pullback. Hopefully we get that rocket ship, and hopefully it's sometime soon. I would love to see a run up to earnings, and honestly, we have a decent setup in order to get there. So we have more subdued RSI, more subdued momentum for this at 63 on the daily chart. The weekly chart, we're sitting at 65, and on the monthly chart, 67.64. So we are no longer in overbought territory for BigBear.AI for the momentum indicator. And as per the moving averages, the 20-month crossing over the 50-month is going to be huge. And now, mind you, we want July to finish strong, and then hopefully a good August helps us to drag that 20-month up even higher to more easily cross that 50-month. Those are simple moving averages. And when we drop down to the simple moving averages here, we got a golden cross on the weekly chart between the 50 and the 200, which you can see down here on the screen. And then if we go back down to the daily chart here, what are we looking at? We got that retest on the 20, which I said, when we got that, I said, this is going to be huge for us. It should allow us to have a good bounce. And we did. We had a 7.6% gain the next day that followed it. And then yesterday, softening a little bit. But based on what I showed you, it should be pretty darn reasonable to see at least some signs of consolidation of kind of vacillating between the highs and the lows, which we have lower highs, higher lows. So it would be some form of consolidation, especially with this lower volume that we're getting here. All of this is completely normal. We're looking for that next breakout moment. Are we going to break down through support, or are we going to break up through resistance instead? I think that we're going to get that answer sometime very soon. I got my long positions ready, and I sold some calls against them the last time that we saw a peak. Does that mean my shares will be exercised, or that I will be assigned to sell my shares if that option exercises? If the conditions are met, yeah, maybe I'm still going to make one heck of a profit off of that, and then I can use those profits to find a nice point to enter back in again. Highly speculative play, and I've talked about that before in my previous videos. You can go back and watch them, but I will say that this is a stock that I really do think could have some promise to it, and I don't mind holding on to a few shares with a little bit of risk capital. So even if I don't get assigned to sell my shares, but instead I'm stuck holding them, that's really okay with me. Let's move over to AI. AI got news yesterday after I said one of my best stocks to buy now. We'll see what it does. We got good sign because we actually had a retest off of 200-day support. And I said this is a good thing to see that retest and see support hold. It should be green lights from here, at least from a technical standpoint. And that's as a general direction. And then I got a comment in my YouTube video saying, hey, the CEO is stepping down and resigning. I was like, oh. And I was like, well, that means that thing's probably going to pull back pretty hard because the CEO is liked and it would seem to be a positive thing for the company. And what this mixes in, the reason why you would get a drop for something like this versus I think Intel may have actually gone up over news that the CEO is stepping down. If the CEO is seen to take a good company and do bad things for it, and getting rid of that CEO and bringing in somebody else fresh on board could be a very positive thing for the company. That can actually take some downward pressure off the company if the CEO is seen as the problem. Here, the CEO was seen as the visionary for the company, a very good thing for the company, and now he tossed in some uncertainty into the company's future based on the changing of the CEO. Now, mind you, I will say the circumstances concerning his resignation are health-related, at least as it's reported to us. And with that health-related issue, him stepping down, not because he was bad for the company or he thinks that it's time to abandon a sinking ship or anything like that. I think this is going to end up being near-term volatility for us, and that it shouldn't long-term affect the stock, assuming that whoever they get to replace him is also well received. So hopefully it's somebody with a proven track record for being able to lead a company towards profitability. That would be great for it. Somebody who's also seen as visionary. So a named person would be good. If it's internal hiring, that could also be good. And we do want to look at their experience, not only in the AI space where C3.AI is positioned, but then also somebody who's able to carry on that vision and expand on it and really lead the company into future growth. So what technical signs do we have here? Well, we lost the 20-day, but now we're starting in the pre-market today to trade back towards it. That's good. We're up above the 50. That's good. We lost the 200-day. Not great. If we drop those down for a moment and take a look at the EMAs instead of the SMAs, we actually pulled back down and retested the 200 EMA. That's actually not bad news, and the 50 EMA hasn't yet crossed over it yet. So we want to watch in this very near term. We could take a significant bounce from here and recover all that was lost. So this could be a quick reset for us, and then we could see us back around that $30 level sometime in the near future. So does it come off my best stocks to buy now? Well, as long as we don't lose the supports that we have and instead we hold on to those moving averages, especially the exponential moving averages that I have here on screen, that could be a very good thing for us. So we lost the 5, the 13, and we also lost the 200-day EMA. So all those EMAs, but we kept the 50 EMA, which you can see recently, the last 2 times that it dipped down towards it, we were able to rip right back off of it. So that's the fact that we're up above that right now, and the fact that now we caught onto that 200 EMA and we're trading above it in the pre-market. This could be pretty good for us. Always keep the overall background market environment, the market bias in mind for this right now. The markets are doing pretty darn well. C3.AI is also doing pretty darn well. If the overall market bias shifts and we get a sell-off in the overall market, well, then that can most certainly weigh on C3.AI as well, probably in an outsized way because it is a pre-profit company. So is BigBear.AI, just to put that out there. So from a technical standpoint, do I think that this should come off my list for best stocks to buy now? Well, it doesn't help the case. I'm leaving it on right there as long as those supports continue to hold for us. Now for Bitcoin, here's the big thing. Actually, let me show you one of the big things, then I'll show you another big thing. So the reason that what I'm about to say is so big is that we actually have, within a bull channel right now, this inverse head and shoulders. So this neckline is this ray that comes right across these tops here. And then you can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and that we broke the neckline a couple of weeks ago. So for this would be the first full trading week in July, starting on Monday the 7th, that we had a nice little rocket ship and then settled a little bit, but we needed the momentum reset anyway, so that's perfect. Now, why right now, today, between 3 and 4 a.m., why that was so perfect is because we got a retest of the neckline as support, and that is huge. With that support holding and getting back up on top of that 20-day, that's incredible for us as the momentum has subsided from overbought territory when we first took that rocket ship ride up, and then that peaking at about 76, pulling all the way back down to today at 55 on a daily basis for Bitcoin. So it's nice to see that reset. This could be the thing that allows us to push over 122,000 and hold it. Yeah, I know we got above it before, but look what happened last time. We hit 123,236 was the number, and then we just pulled back, and then we just kept on rejecting right off 120,000. This could be that moment that we start to see that rocket ship come into crypto, as long as we don't do anything that makes us leave a risk-on environment. And I don't think that we have anything expectedly near term that's going to take us out of that market movement, if you will. So for the risk assets, the equities, the cryptos that are out there right now, in this retest, please don't underestimate just how huge that is to come back down here, find support, and then close back up above the 20-day. Now, this is not a closed candle. This is an active candle because crypto never sleeps. So when this candle does close, we want it to be up above that 20-day. So we want it to be north of 116.4. As I look at this right now, probably a more conservative thing would be to say north of 116.5 would be that number. Now, in terms of other technicals, yeah, there's other ones up there, but then it starts to get messy. But let me show you what I was talking about when I said about north of 122. 122.462 is actually the number that we want to beat. And there's some minor resistance also at 123.621. And then eventually we get a nice little gap here where there's a whole lot of nothing up north of those numbers. The big numbers that I'm watching for, like I said, right in here, the white lines from 120.204 all the way up to 122.462. If we can sit on top of those, we should be able to blast through this 2618 number that we have here from the Fibonacci extension. And that inverse head and shoulders that I told you about, there is a price target that I have on here for you. We'll take all that stuff down so that way we have as little noise as possible on this thing. So that retest, this is the massive for Bitcoin to see that because of the price target that goes along with it. It's way up here. Inverse head and shoulders has it at $150,312. Probably going to have some volatility on the way up there. This could be the start of that movement up to that 150,000 by year's end 2025. So this bull channel has been going on for a while. The inverse head and shoulders has been about a year long, I think, in its development, and it could take several months for us to see the rest of it. As a matter of fact, here I'll go back and I'll see how long it's taken for us to get this inverse head and shoulders. So if we go all the way back here to about where that left shoulder starts, it goes back to November of 24. So we're not quite at that year mark, but now we're all the way out to July. So 8 months in is making. Does it take another 5 months to get out to 150,000? Depending on what happens on the regulatory front, depending on what happens on the liquidity side of things, are we going to get cash continuing to pour onto out to businesses, out to institutions, out to consumers? Are we going to continue to inflate the dollar? Because if we do, and that helps out with the dollar-denominated version of BTC, that when you see Bitcoin's comparison to the US dollar, when the dollar ends up getting devalued, well, then that should have some sort of pressure upward on the price compared to the dollar for Bitcoin. So guys, I think that is absolutely massive for us to get that retest. So BigBear.AI, just to summarize all three of these, and by the way, you guys can check out over the Discord. I'm just one of the panel experts over there. Code word doctor when you sign up using the earner tier, so you can see all the expert channels, our buys, our sells, everything that's over there. The Ask the Expert, the bread bot, And then we also have advanced charting tools, AI tools, this entire ecosystem. They're helping you in your journey towards financial freedom, building alpha in your portfolio. So over there, I'll be posting more of this, especially as I get back from vacation. I'll just put out more technicals, more companies that I'm following, more of my best stocks to buy for Q3 2023, more of the crypto technicals that are out there. This is a big moment for Bitcoin. So BigBear.AI could be showing us that moment where it's finally going to push up above resistance. 872 is that number to beat. And then we also have some trend lines that I showed you that are a little bit south of that. Sitting on top of that should make it easier, much easier, to give us evidence that we're going to break that 872, that we sit on top of it, and we start working towards that $10 price tag, which is the low end that I have for BigBear.AI. I think on this run, we could push up as high as 15. I think if we're going to hit 15, it's going to take some catalyst. It's probably going to take some good earnings to do that as well, with some excellent guidance for us. We need excellent news that tells us that we don't just have a backlog of revenue, that we actually have revenue that's going to be coming in a very soon, a very big way for BigBear.AI. And we also want to hear about how that impacts their bottom line as well. How soon does that mean profitability comes towards BigBear.AI? How well are they able to compete in this space? C3.AI, it's also going to be a very similar story for that. And hopefully they find a CEO that people are very excited about and helps us really rip back upward from here. I do think that we could return back to that $30 mark at least in the very near future, once again, assuming that the background market environment that we have, and same thing for BigBear.AI, assuming that that environment doesn't change, that we're in that risk-on bullish sentiment that we have right now, it'll definitely help these two stocks move even higher. And then risk-on bullish sentiment for crypto as well. I think that is also something that can help move Bitcoin's price much higher than it is right now. This is the moment that I think that we're setting up where we could absolutely hit new all-time highs, maybe over today, maybe over this weekend, maybe over the next several weeks. We're going to have to watch and see what comes our way. When it does rip, it's probably going to rip pretty big, and it's probably going to rip pretty fast. If we lose that neckline support, that's probably going to be pretty significant resistance for us, just to talk about the other side of it for a moment. So guys, I hope they have a great Friday. Enjoy your trading day. I got travels back home. I got my daughters want to do a little bit of back to school shopping on the way back, pick up some outfits, grab some lunch and stuff. And it looks like a really nice day from what I can tell here. So guys, enjoy the markets. I hope you enjoy the technicals. Like I said, if you want to see more, the Discord is over there. Even though I'm on vacation, the other experts are working around the clock, as I don't believe any of them are on vacation right now. Like I said, that it really is an astounding place. Thousands of members over there already, and they are great people as well. I couldn't be happier than to be part of that community, helping to serve them and support them. And I hope to see you guys over there as well. And then there are some courses down in the description if you're interested in learning technical analysis, learning how to trade using technicals, learning how to trade options to really develop some serious alpha in your portfolio. So when you click those links, code word doctor gets you a discount. The courses are one-time fee, lifetime access deal. So you buy the course, it's yours forever. There's a separate Discord that goes with that as well, so you can ask your nuanced questions. And like I said, code word doctor is what gets you a discount no matter which link you choose and whatever it is that you sign up for. There is a limited time deal on the regular Discord with the panel of experts and everything. That deal expires soon. Make sure you choose the earners tier so you get unrestricted access. Guys, I'm going to let you go. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.